We got a special guest in the building, Jesse.
Yes, sir.
In the building. Y'all already know. Y'all familiar with Jesse. You already know.
You know the vibes.
Usually the one that's behind the camera.
This is a very weird place for me.
He actually didn't remember he was supposed to be in the podcast.
We were about to shoot like 10 minutes ago.
And I'm sitting on the couch.
And I'm behind the camera.
And I'm waiting.
And Aaron's like, are y'all ready? And then Tony's like, where'd the mic at?
Where's the other mic? Where's Jesse?
I'm over there like tweaking.
On his phone. You're on your phone.
I'm off the pre right now, so.
He took a bunch of pre-workout. He don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm like, yo, come on.
Also, disclaimer, we are wearing shades. And I know some of y'all might be like, I'm about to turn this podcast off.
Don't turn it off.
Because
don't turn it off.
These two head asses are wearing glasses on the pod. Look, for one, yes, you are absolutely correct.
Let me explain.
But there's an explanation.
So Jesse got sick during the week or throughout the week. These past couple of days. He didn't get sick, but
I had bad allergies.
You got a bad allergic reaction to something,
and I carelessly was just scratching the living mess out of my eyes, specifically my right eye,
and it swelled up.
And it got
infected.
You saw it.
Yeah, and it got infected.
Bad. So Sunday I woke up.
Oh no, it's been since Saturday.
But Sunday I woke up and my eye was like half shut. And Monday I was like, all right, I gotta go to the doctor.
So I went to the doctor. Eyes still kind of tweaking out.
So y'all don't see me looking like I'm crying or like I got pink eye.
Put the shades on.
I'm put the shades on.
And so I'm like, yo, I'm put the shades on too.
You know.
But look, we've been watching a show called The Hype, and at this point, shades are just an accessory. It's part of the fashion.
Accessory. It's like a necklace, like a bracelet.
It's part of the fashion.
You might trip. I almost tripped on a few cables in here right now.
It's not worth the risk.
But you know,
it is what it is. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it because we have a really good one today. A story that that I'm familiar with, kinda, and maybe a lot of you who know Jesse are kind of familiar with his story a little bit. But see, look, we here at La Familia, we love everyone.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make that very clear. We love everyone.
It's about to dog me.
And we no, I'm not about to dog you. I'm because you're my boy, and you're part of La Familia. So I want everybody to know that there is grace, there is love.
Yeah.
We love people. Yeah. I love Jesse. That's my boy. And we are human. And what you might hear and what you might see is real life experience, real life feelings, real life emotions that maybe even you feel.
Yeah.
So don't count me out. Don't count him out.
Don't count me out.
Nobody out because of how they feel and because of their past experiences.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
I had asked you a little bit off camera.
Mm-hmm. Was
today like on your mind today, throughout the day, or just in general ever since you had brought it up to me?
Yeah, it's been on my mind today and the past week. It's honestly been, this conversation has been on my mind since I met Tony. To make a long story short, I reached out to Tony over Instagram. I slid in his DMs.
Yeah.
I slid in the DMs and I was like,
take me out.
Yeah, I was like, yo, bro, it's your birthday. Let me take you out. We had only met each other by like seeing each other. Like literally no conversation, no actual mouth-to-mouth word conversation. We just like seen each other in the same building of this church. And I took some time off from going to this church and I left. And on his birthday, a few people had told me like, you should reach out to Tony. And I was like, whatever, like, And then on his birthday, I saw him post something. I hit him up. We had lunch. We had dinner. And during dinner, we had a really like good conversation. Not even about like church or like, who are you? Like, what do you do? Whatever. It was literally just about, we immediately connected on a topic, which was like, growing up in the Hispanic Pentecostal, not even just Hispanic. I know there's a lot of churches out there, but like that Pentecostal kind of religious, church culture. Where you kind of like get scarred by certain experiences that you go through. And we had that in common. We spent like, 2-3 hours?
Bro, we were there till like they closed.
Yeah, literally till they closed. Shout out Chaloso off White Rock. And in that conversation, Tony brought up, La Familia and his vision. I mean, they had no name yet, actually.
No, we didn't have a name for it. I was just like sharing just the idea.
The idea of it. And I had never put into, not even a product, but I had never put into like a project of what I felt could be, but I knew once he shared with me this project, this idea, this, I guess, even ministry, I was like, look, I had no plans for what I had been through to use it towards something, but I can give you what I got to help you push this forward.
And what's funny is after I had told you,
Yeah.
you said yes.
Yeah.
But then what did you say? You were like, if you had asked me like a month ago for whatever reason, I would have said hell no.
Yeah, I would have
Like,
said hell no to that. And I told Tony that because like at the time I was going through a certain experience that was really a big transition in my life, family wise. I was losing my aunt. I was leaving a church that I was at. I was just making a lot of transitions. And I was like, a month ago, bro, like I really would have been like, hell no, like church and like investing emotionally into another thing or putting my time on like more on my plate. Like I would have said no. And so it was a really weird time that we got to connect because we got to share a lot of experiences. And it felt right, like to be like, and the cool thing about this is like, I'm gonna just share this real quick. I'm not like he said, that disclaimer is because I might let out a few words here and there that y'all not used to, but I know y'all be saying them, so don't play with me.
There might be some cussing.
There might be some cussing. But
that's
like, here's the thing, like La
That's
Familia event is like an event that's like also reaching out to ourselves. Like we're not just hosting this because we figured it out.
We don't have it figured out.
We're not hosting this because we're not even necessarily over certain things that we went through. Sometimes they come up and then they sting and we act out of them or I say things. But the point of this, not even project, like the point of this thing that we're doing, La Familia, is to like even reach people like myself, you know, like I don't even consider myself I haven't been to church in a minute. I don't consider myself a church goer, but I believe in God. I believe in the gospel. I exercise my faith in different ways outside of going to church. One day, if God convicts me to get plugged in again, I'll do it. As of right now, that's not where I'm at in life. But like going and helping serve and hosting and planning and doing the logistics behind La Familia and still being a person that
is serving
is reaching out. Like I'm learning with y'all. The people that are showing up to this event, I'm also listening. I'm also observing. I'm also like learning. And I think you are too, as we're there with y'all. So like,
and I think it's important to like understand also that people deal with pain and trauma differently.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes whenever we bring up past experiences, it could be with anything.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily just church or with anything. If you bring up something, somebody might get angry. If you bring up something, somebody might get sad. If you bring up something, somebody might just completely shut down. So that's why I say like, you can't count us out. You can't count Jesse out because he might say a cuss word or two. Like, nah, like you, like there's like people respond differently. It is what it is. And what my point is like, we have to be comfortable with uncomfortable conversations and being able to have conversations with people that don't necessarily look like us. So even though Jesse and I can relate in many different ways, maybe there's people who will listen and watch this that can't, but to have that open mind to listen as to what his message is or what his reasoning is for whatever, or what my reasoning is for whatever we may be talking about. So let's jump right into it. That was just a little intro. And so there's a couple of things that you wanted to touch on that tie into what we did for the first recap podcast of La Familia, and then to your past experience. And you said one of them was transparency. Yeah. So what did you specifically want to touch on with transparency?
So, a lot of y'all may have asked the question to yourselves or to Tony. I know Tony told me he's gotten this question before. And I even, at a certain point, told Tony and asked him, I was like, yo, why are we sharing so much about what went wrong, what went good, what happened, what didn't happen, yada, yada, yada. I know where I grew up, how I grew up. I had a lot of questions, and all the questions that I had were never answered, whether it was faith-based, business-based, about the church, because I didn't understand. Like, I just saw this place about 100 plus people getting together, giving a bunch of money. I know it's in the Bible, doing a bunch of stuff, serving for free, and I was like, I have a lot of questions, and a lot of these questions making me really doubt the intentions behind this program, behind this church, behind this name, behind what y'all doing. Unfortunately, the experience I went through kind of just proved those questions of doubt right. And so when Tony did this podcast last week with Zeke, shout out Zeke, I was like, yo, this is a really cool thing because people can see that both of those events didn't go perfect. Both of those events didn't work. Both of those events were raised with, our first event was just our money.
Straight up our money.
The second event was thanks to you guys for buying shirts.
Shout out to everyone who bought a shirt.
Was because of y'all support, really. We still invested some of our money into this, but not as much as the first one.
But we didn't make no money either.
But we didn't make absolutely no money.
So like, yeah, that was a
yeah.
very like important thing.
Yeah, and people like Aaron, who's behind the keyboard, behind the computer right now, monitoring the sound. Like he's here helping us. I'm here bringing my equipment, helping. Like we're all just putting in our efforts.
There's thousands and thousands of dollars invested into La Familia.
Yeah, even the person who helped us make the shirts, like your family. Like
that's like it's a lot. Like I like like there's just so much time and energy spent and my point behind saying, oh, there's thousands of dollars is that not necessarily that we have thousands and thousands. It's like the equipment, the sound, and all this, and it's very important. Yeah, like Jesse said, to be transparent with what is going on and why we feel like we should share it. Yeah, number one, because I just think it's dope when anybody shares behind the scenes things, and then number two, like you said, maybe people have questions or are curious about what goes into planning an event, what goes into making shirts, and so we just share that. So touch on like a little bit of why transparency was so huge. Like just
it was big for because you. like I said, like when you grow up in a place where you are trying to be introduced to a new thing, you obviously have a bunch of questions. Everything that I do, when I buy a new phone, I got a bunch of questions about how to even use a new phone, whatever, new mic, whatever. And so especially when you're introduced to something that people are telling you is like supposed to help you spiritually and emotionally, of course people got questions. And so we maybe didn't answer a bunch of faith-based questions, but we answered some questions that were like towards, are they making money off this? What are they? Why are they acting like this went all good? Like
we're losing money.
Yeah, we lost money, and shit did not all go good. Like we were stressed minutes before the first person walked in the building, and we wanted to share that experience just because everything that happened these last two events, the last three, but specifically the two worship nights, were literally just us trying to bring people together who maybe don't believe anymore, who have been through some traumatic experience, and also to show you guys like we use what we had. And you know, the first church pressured us into making the first event, and we proved to ourselves that we could make an event and get people there, do it on our own. We did our own marketing. Yeah, we did our own. We didn't run no ads. It was just marketing. It was just content. It was just posting frequently, word of mouth. It was just reaching out to people, friends, literally offering for free. We did pay a few people the first event, and that was just because we were like, yo, we really do appreciate that you came out.
And it was far.
It was far, bro. Like flights, not just like a drive, like flights.
Yeah, like my friend flew in from Houston.
From the first one to the second one, we were able to make a huge jump in every single way, not just in numbers, but people just like, even like the confidence that we had and what God could do with something so small right now, you know, but it's bigger than what it is right now. And so that's why I thought it was hella dope that we were so transparent, even with the slightest thing. Like Zeke said, like we started late, and he was like, I didn't like that. And him saying that is like put me, Tony, and some of us like, you know, like, hey, like it happens. And you know, our Hispanic culture, we'd be starting late and shit, you know, it's whatever, we get it. I'm late. I was late today.
He's late all the time.
I'm late all the time. But like that's why it's so cool to just share that. I'm not trying to encourage people to be late. I'm working on being late. Trust me. But like, it's just to show you guys like, yo, like we're just like, yo, we're organizing this thing, but we're also like coming to this thing. Like, you know, there's people singing, you're singing, I'm shooting on photos and video, but I'm still attending. Like I'm still considering myself an attendant at this event because like I'm learning with them. Some of you guys may ask like, oh, church hurt is everywhere. And I even told somebody that I was like, yo, I'm gonna refrain from saying church hurt because I'm not gonna let that church that I grew up with have that hold on me no more. Like, y'all, sorry y'all, but like, si te vas, you know, vete. Shout out Bad Bunny. But like, for real though, like I kept saying church hurt. People around me kept saying, what was your church hurt experience? Da, da, da. I'm like, bro, I got to a point I was like, yo, I'm not using that word no more, bro. It keeps having a hold on me, and they don't got a hold on me. They damn well know they got no hold on me. Yeah. And my experience was, and I hope some of you guys can relate to it, it's just like, I didn't grow up. I wasn't born into this church that I grew up in. I wasn't born into Christianity. My parents joined this church out of desperate need. You know, they were young parents, whatever. And so they joined it out of desperate. They tried to find a way out. You know, to a certain extent, I give them credit. You say this all the time. They introduced us to, you know, this gospel, this faith-based, you know, core foundation.
Jesus.
And so when growing up, I always saw myself like being a little different than churchgoers. Like I like different music. At that time, I was listening to Carter 3, Thank Me Later. Like I was really into that shit. I was into the music. I was into the clothes. I was into the tattoos. I just idolized, to be honest, those things because they just seemed so much cooler.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I felt like I was condemned or like treated differently because I liked things that were like really bad. I remember one time my mom, she's probably gonna watch this, but like I had a debate in high school freshman year for pro and against weed, and I was on the pro weed side, and somebody in my church at the time found out that I was pro weed from this debate. I don't even know how they found that out, but like I was like literally called into a pastor's office and like talked about like how my representing at my school, my faith in my church, like that was, and I was like, yo, like the debate was in school and it was about like the health like benefits of cannabis. It wasn't about like should people be potheads or not, like, and it turned into a big thing, and little stuff like that is what made me like always question. I'm like, I know we're all the same in a certain extent. We all share more than, we all have more in common than we do not. So I'm like, I know I'm not the only one in this building growing up that's got secrets, that's got, hobbies or things that are not necessarily church appropriate or like think things or question things. I'm like, I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Like, y'all acting like, so in that time, leaving the church.
So which raised, like you said, a bunch of questions.
Yeah, questions. There's always questions.
And
never answers.
Would you ask these questions?
I asked my parents. Parents didn't even know how to answer it. At the time, it was just like, this is what the Bible says. This is that. This is that. And I was just like, all right, well, like, that's not answering the question, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. It's in the Bible, but like, why? Can you
explain the scripture?
Yeah, can you explain that? Like, why is it in the Bible? Like, why? What's the point behind it? Like, why the Old Testament? Why the New? Like,
and you're being genuine too.
Yeah,
like,
and I was really just asking, and people thought it was like, oh, so like you don't believe in God? I was like, bro,
I'm asking because I believe in.
I'm asking that I believe, but the way you answer it making me feel like I shouldn't believe. You know what I'm saying? And so when I finally made the decision to leave, I felt liberated. But in that time, the questions that I had and how things went down made me really just be like, all right, this church stuff is like not it. This Jesus thing, this God thing is not it. At the time,
in a lot of ways, it like turned you away from the faith.
Their actions answered my question.
Yeah,
and the actions didn't resemble what they were actually saying at the altar. The actions, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to bring that energy. If you're bringing that energy, you better match it with what you're doing. If you're talking big talk about money or business or clothes or church or God or this, and I know we're human, but like when the real test comes and you be acting a certain way that do not resemble the stuff that you are preaching specifically, then it's like, all right, like I get you're human, there's mercy, but like, yo, bro, like where's your accountability?
Yeah.
And like that thing, like when Zeke was like, yo, we started late. That's low key. He's new to this, and he's a good friend of ours. He's become like a brother to you. I'm just now getting to know him, and his accountability as a friend. I've honestly you would need that. Like I've never had a friend besides you and him and my other friend Adura who like helped me stay accountable, and my parents. And like that shit is real. Like, and so when Zeke holds us accountable, I know Zeke holds us accountable. I know you hold me accountable. I do my best to hold the people around me accountable, and that's like same thing. And like in the church, like I had questions, there was actions that were confusing, and then there was no accountability. And so I was like, all right. So I think the passion, I got people I told me like, bro, are you still hurt or angry? I'm like, bro, I'm honestly angry because I feel like we're losing people. I'm angry because like no one reached. I thank God that He met me where I was at. I was invited to another church of a close friend of mine. His name is Magdiel. He used to be at Fellowship Church in Grapevine. He invited me out to his church, and it was literally just not for fun, but I mean for fun, but like it turned into something more. But at first it was just for fun. I was like, this is a big church, cool people, great vibes, and I was meeting all these people. And honestly, in that time, kind of saved me for a little bit because I didn't go straight into being crazy. Like I just went straight into another church environment. And shout out to Fellowship Church, who like took me in for about a year to just like get to know these people for real. And when I left, and in that year, I really like made a lot of dumb decisions, really like took myself to, do things that I'm not proud of. just to kind of cope and escape. But have something to fall back on that really keeps you grounded, because when I have to reel it back in, when I'm really tested, when shit really hits the fan and there's nothing for me to fall back on, that's where you break. And so once I realized I need something to fall back on, and the only thing I knew to fall back on was Jesus, was God. And the cool thing about naming something like what you started, La Familia, is like, I told somebody that, I was like, they're like, oh man, who do you been hanging out with? I was like, bro, I ain't got no friends. And they're like, what you mean? I was like, nah, I really consider my real friends that I have right now family, like community. Because these friends of mine, my family hold me accountable. They're people that say no, the people that say yes. And so like, that's why I love that this was named La Familia, because I'm like, it's really what it is.
That's
like,
what we want.
We're here to meet people that can turn into family, or just meet people that you can like be cool with, share experiences with. And if you become really close to them, cool. And if you don't, you don't. But like, it's a community of people where we can be transparent, we can be honest. And that's why we wanted to come on here and like, this event came. I know people say like, oh, you guys started this out of hate. Like, no, we just turned something bad into something good, because we realized we weren't the only two. This is a good investment of my time. There's real people here. There's real community here. There's real stuff going on here, and it helps me not get too deep into the rabbit hole. If I'm being honest, that's a real big part of it. And I don't go deep into the rabbit hole because I'm like, you know what? There's still hope. There's still people like Tony. There's people like Aaron. There's still people like Zeke out there that believe, and they're not assholes. I'm just gonna say it. That are good people, and they're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We're trying just as much as you are, and that's why I love that I've met people like y'all. Because like, we're all just trying to do our thing. And once you find a good place where you know that you can meet God and he can meet you where you're at, you don't have to go down that rabbit hole, you know?
Yeah.
And doubt anymore. And, you know, like I said, I still have questions. I still have concerns, but like, where I'm at is where I'm at, and I'm content with that. I'm happy with that. I feel like once God asks me to take another step, whether it is La Familia or whatever, I'll do it. But as of right now, like, I know like this was a big step for me, even to say yes to La Familia. Not that because La Familia is a bad thing. It's just like, personally, I had to swallow my pride and be like, I'll do that. And I'm glad I did. Back to the question, like the biggest difference was like the support system and community. I know we had a really good support system still. Like, shout out to all the musicians and the audio engineers and everybody who did something for the first event. You guys really like gave 100%, and we very much appreciate
super
that.
Grateful. Like, that was our first event.
Yeah, but like the support outside of that and around that was like, it was there, but it just felt like it was still me and Tony. Like, it still felt like we were like pushing it, and we're like, yo, why isn't nobody pushing this? Like, why isn't no one trying to, like, do we look stupid? Like, but we're just like, no, seriously. There was times we were like, this is not gonna work, because we were like, we look dumb because no one is hopping on this, like, for
and
real.
It was like in a faraway city.
Yeah, we were like, no one is.
No one's gonna come.
No one. I was like, are we not explaining things right? Did we not put the ad? Like, what is going on? And so like I said, like, it wasn't the musicians, it wasn't the audio. It was just like everyone on that behind the scenes part really gave their all. But like, there was a weird lack of like communication between us and the people that were saying they were going, that they weren't going, or that people were like, oh, this is so cool. And like, cool, share it. Like, if it's cool to you, share the post.
Share it, please.
If it's cool to you, like, I don't know, tell a friend. But like, not many people did that, and we were still surprised showing up to the event. We walked out of the auditorium, and we were like, oh, there's people here. Like, what the heck?
But it wasn't until like it was almost starting where people
and we were like, wow, people really pulled through. And we were like, man, we need help getting the word out, because the people that were going to help us get the word out, or that were like supporting in front of us, weren't supporting any further than that. And we were like, it's cool. Like, we get it.
Yeah,
I do it too sometimes. I can't lie. Sometimes people be like, look at this dope t-shirt I made. I'm like, that's cool, bro. And they're like, you should buy one. I'm like, I'm not buying one. But
I'm not buying.
So I get it. I understand. Sometimes, and here's the thing though, for that, some things don't need certain people's support. It's real.
And that is okay.
And that is fine. And that is okay, because that just means that they weren't supposed to be a part of that. And that's cool. Like, and the right people will come.
And in business, just like business, business speaking, in business, the people that are closest to you are not gonna be your biggest supporters.
Yeah, for
the
real.
most part. It's just that's just is what it is.
I didn't know half of the people that are on this train right now at that event. Like that helped put the second. I didn't know Aaron. I didn't know Zeke. I didn't know a lot of people.
And so the second one, how did that one?
And so the second one, we met people that when they said, "This is a good idea. This is cool. This is awesome. This is blah blah blah," to our face. When it came to not in our face, they shared it. They talked about it. They helped us get on camera. They helped us put podcasts together. They helped us. They really were like, cool. What's the next step? How can we help? We're gonna show up. We're gonna do this. And we're like, oh my gosh! Like at the end of the second event, we were like, the support system that helped us make this event be 10 times better was nuts. Like it was insane because like people really were like, cool, share, cool, repost, cool, comment, cool, like, cool this, cool that. I'm just like, yo, that's love right there. Like, and sometimes the first time around you don't meet the right people, and the second time you do, and the third time you meet more, and then you lose some, and then you gain some. It's just how it is, you know. And because like I said, everything was still high level. Even if some things didn't go as planned, it was still executed at a high level. The singing, the playing, the planning, the everything, even the lights, bro. The people who did the light second event, like everybody really brought what they knew to the table and killed it. And so, and even the first time too,
visuals was dope.
Yeah, the first time people killed it. Second time people killed it, but the support around it. And so, sincerely appreciate everybody who shared, reposted, liked.
Thank you.
Spread the word.
Shout out Aaron. Shout out Aaron here.
Aaron, all here. I wish I could turn the mic. I mean the camera, but I'm not. There it is.
He's right there.
There it is. Aaron. Shout out Zeke.
Aaron. Shout out Zeke, man.
Shout out Cecia. Shout out the band that day. Shout out the pastor of North Place Garland. Like even him, bro. Like that was also a huge difference. Like his energy towards the support was like I felt that love. I was like, yo, I don't know if you're being real or not, but like it feels real. and he was there.
Yeah, he showed up. Showed his support. All right, I appreciate y'all listening to the cameras die, so we're gonna wrap it up. We were gonna wrap it up anyways, but I appreciate y'all listening. Shout out Jesse, man. Shout out to everyone who's gonna listen to this and share it with somebody, bro.
Share it, post it.
Like
shout out
it.
Zeke, Aaron, the whole team.
Shout out the whole team who don't know that they're the team, but they are the team.
But they are the team.
Peace
Out.